Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Say Report. I am your host, Devin Decker, and joining me, my host companion, Sejohn. And welcome to the road to Reubens.
Hey, everybody. We're kicking off a little bit of a plan here. We rarely have one on this show.
We're off on the road to Reubens, and we're not going to stop till we're there. There being mystery men. If the Say Report had a natural endpoint, right? We just talked about American Dad on our last episode of the Say Report. And one of my favorite things about American Dad is that Hot Water, the one that is a Little Shop of Horrors parody where CeeLo Green, fuck CeeLo Green, but like at the time, he was the biggest thing in the world. So of course he plays the hot tub cometh to life that in the end murders Stan, and has become one of the most quoted lines from American Dad in this house. Well, Stan's dead. Whenever they just like murk somebody in any TV show or movie or book or play, one-man show, a Decker will always say, well, Stan's dead. And it's fun. It's enjoyable. That episode from the creators of American Dad was their plan for the finale. The series finale was going to be the hot tub episode. And then the show kept going on and on and on that they're like, well, we just need to use it as an episode and come up with something else. This show, the Say Report, if we were going to have a series finale, it would probably be when that Oracle day when we cover Mystery Men, the 1999 adaptation of Flaming Carrot's weird group of guys that he hangs out with, right? Because the Mystery Men are not even like front and center in their own comics that a movie was made on based on them. No. They're kind of they're like the Justice Gang of that series, right? Yeah. Like, they exist, but like, and they would love it if Flaming Carrot joined them, but no, he's the Flaming Carrot. And Sejohn has wanted to do Mystery Men. God, as long as I can remember, Sejohn has wanted to do a Mystery Men episode. And
it's up on the whiteboard. It's one of those ones that we always, whenever we're looking for something to do, I'm always just like, And
don't think that I'm not anti Mystery Men. I love the movie. The problem is I would really, really, really love to do it for its 30th anniversary. So 2029, that Mystery Men is coming, right? Even if this show somehow stops before 2029, we're going to get together for a very special episode on Mystery Men. But in order to keep the spirit alive, I came up with this crazy idea called the Road to Reubens. And do you know what this was inspired by, Sejohn?
I have to imagine at some point seeing Paul Reubens in something.
So Paul Reubens is actually not inspired by Paul Reubens. It's inspired by Pee Wee Herman's bike from the film Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the film that we're going to be talking about once we get all this place setting out of the way. Also, I have an apology to make. Like, we're going to talk about Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Don't worry.
We're definitely.
Do you know where Pee-wee Herman's bike currently resides?
It's got to be like a Planet Hollywood somewhere, right?
It's at the Alamo.
Nice.
Earlier in 2025, which is the 40th anniversary of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the bike from Pee-wee's Big Adventure went up for auction, and Austin, Texas, like tourism, thought this is the fucking thing that we should spend all of our budget on this year. And they bought the Pee-wee Herman bike, and now Pee-wee Herman's bike from Pee-wee's Big Adventure is actually at the Alamo. There is a wonderful, I think it was like CBS This Morning that did it, which we have to talk about CBS This Morning and a lot of things that are going on over there, but not this. This is a fun episode. But yeah, they did a whole feature on it. It might have actually been CBS Sunday Morning, the Sunday program, where they talked about the fact that the bike is now at the Alamo. And one of the main reasons is a day since 1985 has not gone by at the Alamo where someone asks a tour guide, when do we see the basement? Like, this movie has become so ingrained in the culture of the Alamo. Remember the Alamo? No. Remember that the Alamo was referenced in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
You know what? You know what's even more marvelous about that is that it is such a well-known meme about this movie. To your point, right? Like this is the thing that people remember about this movie, and it's one of the big things that I reference every time this movie comes up. I didn't realize how early in the movie that bit comes and goes. It's really not the end of the film. Like, he doesn't make it to the end. Like, he makes it to the Alamo, but there's still half a movie left after that.
Yeah, the Alamo is like the direct center of the hour and 31 minutes of Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I mean, you also have that wonderful thing with Madame Ruby in the beginning, where, like, she gets her stuff totally Kaiser Soze style, just looking behind Pee-wee. Which, how many people do you think she has told that their possessions or whatever they're looking for is in the basement of the Alamo? Because, fun fact, the outside of your shop does not change. Alan Moe's is always going to be there, as is some basement company. So, I don't
know, man.
These are the thoughts that went through my head. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh man, it's the 40th anniversary, and like the Alamo went hard. We should probably do something for the 40th anniversary of Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And then I got to thinking, well, I really want to do Mystery Men for the 30th. And we have this unique moment here where there will be sort of like big anniversaries of movies that featured Paul Reubens. Like the next, from now, 2025, through to 2029, when we will finally cover Mystery Men. And I'm like, a road to Reubens. And you know what's nice? Sejohn talks about that whiteboard. That anytime the two of us sit down, like, oh, we have to do a recording, like we need a time capsule thing, that now one of those time capsules, this is an excused absence episode. We're recording this the Wednesday before this release. I don't even know what day it is. The 15th. It's 10/15/2025, which is fun. I like that, right? Because 10 plus 15 is 25. Whoa. Some math nerds probably already jizzed in their pants about that today. That was bawdier than I meant to be. I'm sorry. But yeah, so we're recording this early because we're not going to be available to record at our normal time. This is still going to release to you on Monday, the 20th. So, like, don't worry about that. But it is an excused absence. So whenever an excused absence or a time capsule has to happen, and we're not sure what to do, we can look at our road to Reubens and be like, oh, it's time to do that movie. It's time to do that movie. But if you're starting the road to Reubens, there's no better place to start than with Tim Burton's first feature directorial effort, right? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because if you are coming here from Tim Burton, I totally get why. Like, I totally get why you land here. It's his first movie, and there is a very kind of Burton-y styling to like the bits and stuff. One of the things that I realized, I was watching Beetlejuice because it's Halloween time, it's spook times, and I realized I had family members that had never seen it, which blew my fucking mind. So yeah, and there's a lot of the same effects in Beetlejuice that you see like earlier versions of here in Pee-wee, like the claymation, the use of claymation, the use of blue screen effect, like yep. Pee-wee flying through the air on his bike is clearly Paul Reubens actually being moved through a space, but he's like in front of a screen, right? Yeah. And it's not green screen. It's not. We're not talking about the Marvel effects of today. So there's also some of that though in Beetlejuice. Like every time they end up walking onto Mars, is that what it's supposed
Saturn.
to be?
It's a moon of Saturn.
Moon of Saturn, right? Yeah, it's it was really cool to kind of see some of the early Tim Burton stuff for sure. But I will always and forever think about this as like the Paul like a Paul Reubens project. Like
Oh,
this thing was like his baby.
Yeah, without a doubt. But it is also, when you look at it, the Tim Burtonness is undeniable, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more, because before we get deeper into the film, and I do apologize that I have to disrupt the road to Reubens, just like brief. I'm talking the briefest of briefs here. Is the fact that I owe an apology to Super Evil Megacore for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate that we talked about last episode. Want to get this out of the way. I said that when you beat all the arcade mode stuff, you don't unlock anything. Turns out I had not beaten all of them on the same account. But I hung out with Zach from This Toy Makes Me Happy over on YouTube, and we actually cleared a full, like, easy, medium, hard, and there is a small little cutscene. It's not that worth it, I will say that. But I said that there was nothing for completing arcade mode. That is technically incorrect. And this is my mea culpa moment to apologize for that. Also, since the last recording, we're not going to get to talk about it for a bit, I have seen Tron Ares and I have seen Roofman. Look forward to me talking about those. But there was a moment in Tron Ares, I'm not going to ruin it, right? This is something for you to have percolate in your head until the next episode, that made me like, whew. I like, whew. Like, I was so happy that it happened. And then someone else in the theater, like, mocked the fact that I, like, hooed about something that happened in Tron Ares. And you know what that told me? Tell me that you've never seen a fucking Tron movie before. Because if you'd seen Tron, you'd be hooing right along, buddy. All right, I've expunged the anger. I've mea culpa'd. Back to Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And you know what? Let's stick on the Tim Burton of it all. Because you know what I like about this? As much as this is Reubens' project, this is Reubens' baby. This is written by Reubens with Phil Hartman, who was his writing partner for the Broadway show that, like, introduced Pee Wee Herman to the world. Right, I cannot think of the name of his character. Salty Jack. He's the sea captain, basically.
Yeah. But
yeah, like, it is so interesting to watch this movie, and you feel the Tim Burton-ness of it. But something that feels like a hallmark of Tim Burton films is that they are decidedly not our world. Very much he is constructing a world with the pieces that he creates, and we are being invited into them. I think what I like the most about Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and again, because it is Paul Reubens' baby, it's Paul Reubens' project at like its very core, it is not like another world. It is very much the real world, and we are watching the effects that P.W. Herman has on that world. And I dig watching Burton have to play in, like, real space.
I mean, what you're talking about is constraints, right? Being his first project, he is not the off-the-chain success that we think of, right? Yeah. He does not have the ability to do whatever the fuck he wants. He is kind of, you know, he's got to dial it in, right? Mm-hmm. And dial it back is really what I meant. But this idea that, like, he is being allowed a certain level of creativity that somebody with their first film is not often given, especially not at the studio level. But this idea that he still needs to play nice with everybody, right? You know, he's at a point in his career now where that's just not the case, you know, and we see, we see him kind of just have full creative control. And I think that that's what you're talking about, is like seeing somebody with some actual, like, with a leash on is a very different, eye-opening experience.
But it's weirdly, it's so in contrast to every other piece of Tim Burton, like, film that I can think of, where, like, it's the real world. The only thing that makes this not feel like the real world, this is going to sound crazy, but, like, everybody rides bikes in this world.
It was the 80s, man. Yeah, it was 1984, right?
Yeah,
so.
Well, the 85. It comes out in 85, but it's 84 that it's set, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing the 30th anniversary, 40th anniversary. This movie is 40 years old, which is just also,
yes.
I don't want to crumble to dust right here in front of you, but yeah, like, it really works for me, though. Like, I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, this is Tim Burton making a movie in our world. And it was kind of just delightful. Because his
Yeah, it's like
sensibilities are
there is
still
definitely
there.
a surrealness to things. I mean, there is a ghost in this movie, right? like there's definitely a level
I
of
don't
weird,
I don't
right?
mean to be
But
rude, but there are some people who believe that there are ghosts in our world regardless. There are
what
ghosts all over these highways. Sorry. But yeah, but I get what you're saying. There is a ghost. That there's a confirmed ghost moment in this movie. Continue, I apologize.
No, there is a level of cartoonishness to all of this, right? It is a heightened reality. Like let me put it that way, right? Like, and like I'm trying to think of who said it. I think it was Letterman was talking about Herman like as a character once, and he was saying like he's like a kid being driven by an incubus. like it's like this idea that he is this like childlike being, and so in a we're seeing the world through his eyes, and there is a zaniness to it. There is a wackiness, a whimsy to the world that he lives in. So like there's you're given these great moments, like when he walks into the bar and mentions Large Marge, and everybody just in unison is just like, oh,
Large
like,
Marge. Yeah, I do. I
you
love
know,
it.
there is something about this world that is maybe ideal. Maybe that's what it is that
Yeah.
this isn't necessarily our world. It's what I wish our world was in a lot of ways. Because I mean, Pee Wee gets his wallet stolen like 30 minutes into this movie and still manages to do amazing things.
Yeah, I very famously lost my wallet the first time I went to England. I just slipped out. I was wearing like big pocket pants and I sat on the train and it just fell out and I was stuck. I could not do anything. I mean, I got through it. I figured it out. I was able to get a call home. And then once I was talking to them at home, I'm like, can you buy me a train ticket? And then I had to convince them to let me pick up a train ticket with just my passport. Thankfully, I still had my passport that wasn't in my wallet. I think that's probably why they make them larger than wallets, so you don't lose everything together. So I was able to use my passport as my photo ID to get that train ticket. And it continued on. But Pee-wee, without a wallet, gets halfway across the country.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it is ideal, because I guess the first question that I have to ask, and we're gonna be asking a lot of questions in this episode that, like, if Paul Reubens were with us today, he would probably, the fact that he's a ghost and could manifest in either of our studio spaces means that there's a very big chance that could happen. Because my first question is, Pee Wee Herman's an adult, right? Like, he's a man. He's meant to be a man.
That is interesting. There is a birthday episode for Pee-wee, and I'm trying to remember what he says he is.
Well,
I
we're
don't think he
talking
does.
Pee-wee's
I think it's kind of
Playhouse,
it's up in the air. Like so to talk about that, you need to talk about like what the point of Pee Wee Herman even is, right? And
right.
that is he's this character that was created when Paul Reubens was working for the Groundlings, right? Like,
Yep.
that's where he meets Phil Hartman. They get together and they create this character, and he is creating the idea of Pee Wee Herman is that he is supposed to be a stand-up comic, but one that the instant you see him that he is going to fail. Like, he created a purposely bad comic, and that was the character of Pee Wee Herman, and like. So yeah, I think he's an adult. Like, if that's where he comes from, it's this fabulous thing that kind of just speaks more to where Paul Reubens at as a comedian. That when Pee-wee becomes really big throughout the years, first he has the HBO show and then the stage show, which is and all that. Then he gets this movie. Then this leads to the TV show. Like, and once he realized that, like, oh, kids are actually like really into this, and this is now being sold to kids. Like, he's big on like cleaning up his act about shit. Like, he makes sure that he never gets caught smoking. He was like he feels like really conscious about that. He makes sure that the show is about important shit, like racism and math and like stuff like that. Like it's not that he turns the show into like fucking Nick Jr., but he is just conscious of the fact that like kids are watching, right? So I think through all of that, you still have to maintain the idea that he's an adult, right? I think of him more like Steve in Blue's Clues. Steve, clearly an adult, right? He's an older person that eventually even goes off and gets a job and stuff.
He goes
and
to
like
college.
so that is who Pee-wee is. Pee-wee is the adult in this world, but he is the silly adult that like still misbehaves, and you know he's misbehaving, and you wag your finger at him, you know, like when you're a kid and you try and be in the show, right?
Yeah, I get you. I guess, but like that's why I wanted to ask, because like where's his money coming from? We clearly see a very rich character in Francis Buxton, like. Where's Pee-wee getting his money from? Like and Francis is even more infantilized in some ways than Pee-wee is. Like Pee-wee is able to live on his own. He is able to prepare breakfast every morning, even though he wastes it. He wastes all that food from the breakfast machine, and it upsets me just a little bit. He's able to afford magic tricks, and like his bike. He has been working on his bike. He's been going to Chuck's Bike-orama and buying items for that bike that is his beloved, his pride and joy. So like there's this one moment where he goes to the magic store, Mario's. I love Mario. Like, what a great name for a magician. And Mario's like, I got the box for Pee-wee, where I thought to myself, like, quietly, is Pee-wee the boy from that Twilight Zone that The Simpsons parodied, where like Bart turned Homer into a Jack-in-the-Box? Like,
where you have to do everything exactly as the kid wants, but like the kid is in like cartoon mode. Yeah.
Right. If we do not appease our elder god Pee-wee Herman, think of what he would wrought upon this world. And then like you have that thought in your mind, and the world challenges him by stealing his bike from him. And what we see is that this elder god that we have feared for so long, not that long, right? Because the bike's stolen within like 15 minutes of the movie. But let's stick on this path that I'm trying to lay out for us. This elder god that we have feared for so long, oh God, how will we ever continue to survive if we do not appease the great Pee-wee Herman? Like, when he loses the thing that matters the most to him in the world, rather than, like, destroy the world around him, he is sent into a deep depression.
Yeah.
And we no longer must fear him. But I don't really think he's, like, some evil. But, like, Pee-wee Herman as a character is something that we lap up at this show. Right? When we're talking about Ace Ventura, the character, not the movie. We admit the movie's got some problems. But Ace Ventura is an elder god, right? He is a god. Yes. He is at a god level. The guys from Dumb and Dumber. I watched a video today talking about Tron Ares. I swear I'm not going to keep bringing it back to Tron Ares. That kept showing footage of Jeff Daniels. And I wondered to myself, does the person making this video not know that Jeff Bridges and Jeff Daniels are not different people?
I'm pretty sure the AI hasn't figured that out yet, Dan. Right? The AI that made that video did not know that.
Every Jeff is the same. But like, yeah, so like the Dumb and Dumber guys, they, to us, in our, analysis of the film Dumb and Dumber, they are not humans, but they are like avatars of stupidity. So a character like Pee-wee Herman, who is the living embodiment of not innocence. Like, innocence seems wrong because he's got a bit of a mean streak to him, but like the living embodiment of childhood, what it means to be a child. And I think that definitely fits, because when you're a kid, sometimes you're fucking mean. Right? You need to push your boundaries so that you see what the boundaries are. You're experimenting with the world. Every child is a scientist being put out into the laboratory of the world to understand its constraints. I don't know where that came from, but like, so Pee Wee Herman, as much as he is this living embodiment of childhood, right? The wonder, the amazement, just the sheer, like, God, overwhelming force that is childhood, he is an adult within this world, right?
Yes, but think about the ways in which he positions himself still, though. Because he's an adult in this world, I agree with you in that. But what's the first thing he does when he sits down for breakfast is he plates up a giant plate and holds up a giant fork and a giant knife. Like, he butters his bread with that giant butter knife so that it makes him instantly look childlike again.
Yeah, he's instantly small again. But if he has come from some other dimension, right, to come here and be an avatar of just childhood, like, he knows enough from observing our world before he comes to it. And I don't want to say that he's like an alien, right? Like he's part of this world, but he's just on like a higher plane of existence.
No,
right?
We're not going to get into Mr. Bean territory.
No.
Don't worry about that.
Mr. Bean is definitely an alien. And anybody who tells you different has just not watched enough Mr. Bean. Like, that's all that means. But Pee-wee knows enough about this world that in order to do the most good on our planet, right? I guess I'm kind of making Pee-wee sort of an angel in this scenario. The best form to take is that...
the other Rowan Atkins connection. Got it.
Yeah, right? But the best form to take is an adult who still has joy in their life. That's going to be the most effective means of communication with the human race in the middle of Reagan's 1980s.
Yeah.
Because a child's not going to be listened to, but a man, like, they all give him the time of day, and everybody that he interacts with, even the escaped felon, Mickey, like, they are...
You know what it felt like to me? Like, no, sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, it's fine. No, that's fine. They are better off for having interacted with Pee Wee Herman. Like,
know it, right? Like, at the end of the movie, they're, like, friendly with him, right?
Yes.
Sorry. You know what it felt like, though, is, like, as much as we were talking earlier about the Tim Burton-iness of it all, and I was talking about, like, Paul Reubens specifically, you know what this also kind of feels like? And it makes sense if you think about the through line, is it felt like a really early Saturday Night Live character movie. Mm-hmm. And that makes sense if you think about, like, the Groundlings and, like, what that ended up birthing as far as, like, that. But the idea is that, like, yeah, and they're in the real world, like, right? Like, we don't deny that, like Night at the Roxbury or Coneheads, right? And stuff like that. Like, they're in the real world, but they are so zany that they just kind of bring like a wackiness to the moment. It's kind of like that trope in the Space Jam movies. I call it a trope. It's two movies, but that idea that, like, they can do cartoony stuff with the real world. It's not necessarily true that the real world can just be cartoony, right? But because they are toons, they somehow are able to imbue tooniness into things. Like, it's that idea of like the world itself is not this silly or whimsical until Pee-wee enters it, right? By him being in this space, it makes it a goofier space. And, like, it's this really wild thing that is reflected in all of the same things with the SNL movies, is like that you have these characters that, like, outside of those characters, things are usually pretty stock standard, but there's something about them that is so bigger than life that they take over the moment, right? And that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. Sometimes they're too big for some people to appreciate. I don't know many people that remember the Pat movie, for instance.
A lot of people don't remember Stuart Saves His Family. That's what I thought you were going to go, right? Like,
people like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pat is another one. And it's just like they're all flying through my head now, but then the ones that do, like, persevere and stay in the cultural consciousness, Wayne's World, right? Like, Wayne's World is literally this character who leaves sunshine, lollipops, rainbows, and unicorns and all that in their wake, coming up against the harsh realities of the real world. Right? Yeah. In his basement, Wayne is fucking God. But as he goes out into the real world, he sees that it is not as safe as like the set of Wayne's World, that there are actually people out there who want to hurt him. So yeah. And I think luckily, like the best part about this film, about Pee-wee's Big Adventure, is that really of all the people that we see in this movie, the only person that actually like wants to hurt him, and that's in the biggest air quotes that my hands can manifest, is Francis. And Francis doesn't really want to hurt him so much as Francis wants to be him. Right? It's literally, he's just jealous.
Yeah.
God, I do. I love this movie. I honestly do love this movie. You know what else it reminds me of? We're going to talk about, and it tracks with the whole SNL movie of it all. Very Muppet movie, right? With the whole road aspect and
yes, and I love the trope of you are watching the movie they are making the whole time. Right? Yeah. Like the Muppet movie is a perfect example of that, right?
Right. What I like even more, though, right? Because the second they're like, Pee, we were very interested in your story. We're going to buy your movie. Like, the only thing they're missing is Orson Welles being the one who's like, get Mr. Herman the rich and famous contract. Like, we don't have that moment, and that's fine. But then the fact that we get to see the movie Pee-wee's Big Adventure as it exists in the universe of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which is not the Pee-wee's Big Adventure, I remind you, that exists within our universe. And in that movie, P.W. Herman is portrayed by Thanos' dad himself, James fucking Brolin.
James Brolin. Yeah. I guess what goes around comes around, because I was going to talk about the ways in which James Bond stole directly from this movie. But then to turn around and basically turn Pee-wee's life into a James Bond movie was a pretty solid go. So,
I mean, they knew. And he does it too. Like, there's that great moment where he's with. I really like that in the park, he like kind of looks down his nose at the BMX guys, but then the like BMX guys who are in the bike shop, he's friendly with. Like, it's like one of those. I really respect the whole idea of that. Of like, this is not the time and place to be doing BMX stunts. There's a time and there's a place for it. And it's not the park where people are trying to enjoy themselves and walk their dogs. And I don't know. And it honestly, it shows like some of Pee-wee's weakness and the fact that he tries to emulate them in this public space. And that's where we get the wonderful, I meant to do that, when he flies off his bike.
Yeah, I mean, we are talking about a character whose famous catchphrase is, I know you are, but what am I?
I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah, you know, there's an immaturity for sure and all of that, but, you know, it's never gross. Like, it's never, you know what I mean? Like, like it never, I don't know, cringy, I guess is what the kids would say, right? Like it is really interesting the ways in which Reubens was able to really balance this character, you know, and part of that is because it did come from this idea of like parody almost when he was doing the stage show and all that, and there was like a little bit more like raunch and stuff to that show than, like I said before, like once he realized he was going to be in a more public sphere, like he toned that down because that was just not core to what he wanted to do, you know, and like it paid off because now it's this most like memorable thing for people.
Yeah, it's iconic. I mean, there are few characters in this world who transcend their actor, and certainly more and more, like, that is just not the case. Like, everybody knows that Borat is Sacha Baron Cohen, right? Sacha Baron Cohen has gone out and, like, made sure that he is not just Borat to everybody. But for a lot of people, Paul Reubens and Pee-wee Herman are completely different entities. We're talking.
Pee-wee Herman is the one that has a star on the Walk of Fame.
Right, exactly.
So Paul Reubens, it's Pee-wee Herman.
Yes. And, I mean, Pee-wee Herman plays himself in this film. That is how he is credited. Now, we know it's Paul Reubens, and we've seen Paul Reubens in many other things, many other Burton projects, right? Which we'll get to as we trangle on down the road of Reubens to Mystery Men. But yeah, like, for me, Pee Wee Herman, like, and I think that there's a real reason behind that. You say that he cleaned his act up, and every time you mention that, it is real hard to be like, yep, he cleaned up every part of his act except for masturbating at an adult movie theater. But honestly, I get it. He needed an escape from the perfection he was, like, forcing himself to live in. No.
Well, we also know some stuff about the fact that he was really repressed because he was hiding the fact that he was gay because he just didn't want to become a pariah. I think his exact words, right? Yeah. But in the posthumous, is that how the term for it, documentary that came out, he talked about the fact that he was gay and he just couldn't be out about it. Like, he just couldn't let anybody know, and that sucks. But I mean, like, the second that you start talking about the idea that, like, this is a guy that was getting so famous for so many in so many different spheres, and then on top of that was holding back this entire part of himself from the whole world, like, you know, if the worst thing he did was jerk off in a theater meant for jerking off, like, I don't think anybody's going to those theaters for the art, man.
It's not like he was at a fucking 3:15 in the afternoon showing of The Lion King, and he's like, "Oh God, Zazu." No, more Rowan Atkinson for you. Like, no, he was.
No, I mean, you want to get down to the real nitty gritty of it. What was probably going on is it probably was a gay movie.
Right.
Now that we know what we know, and so that's probably the only reason that it blew up. If it had not been for the fact that it was probably a gay theater, then he probably would not have gotten this wrecked.
Yeah. And it's just, I mean, it's there. But to live like that, the person that I would compare Pee Wee Herman to in my life, and we'll get to everything, is probably Fred Rogers, aka Mr. Rogers, who I have never not called Fred. I learned his name was Fred at probably too young an age, and when it was like, what do you want to watch, Devin? We're talking like, I have memories of when I was 1 year to 2 years old, right? I'm insane like that. When it was, Devin, what do you want to watch? I'd say, I want to watch Fred. And people would hear that like, what the fuck is Fred? And it's not that Nickelodeon show from the late 2000s. No. That's what I called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Because to me, if he's my friend, I'm visiting him every day. Like, I'm on a familiar enough level with him that I'm going to call him Fred. I'm going to call him by his name. Mr. and Mrs. to me as an infant, right? I'm talking about infant Devin Decker. Like, he if I knew somebody, they weren't Mr. or Mrs. That was for strangers. That was for people I didn't know. And honestly, we want to get to the core of, like, all of my issues. We want to turn the Pee-wee's Big Adventure episode into a therapy session for me. That's where it starts. Is the fact that, why should I call my teachers Mr. whatever the fuck their name is when I know his first name is John? I'm just going to call you John. And no, they see that as disrespectful. Where from me, that's the most respectful thing I can do is call you by your actual name, not the weird title that society has placed upon you as a school teacher. You know, I understand that I'm fucked up. I want everybody to know that. But then I think about how important Pee-wee's Playhouse was to me, right? Probably like the graduation from what I learned from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood with Fred to like going to Pee-wee. And I wasn't like crazy old. It's not like I was 20 years old before I realized that Pee Wee Herman was Paul Reubens. Paul Reubens is Pee Wee Herman. But I was older than you would expect it to be before, like, Pee-wee was who I was watching. Where Fred Rogers was not a character, it's who he was. Pee-wee was who he was to me. And I've talked about that. There's a documentary out there, I don't know if it's still on YouTube, called The World According to Devin. And at the time that documentary was being made, remember when Pee-wee's Playhouse was on Adult Swim? Do you remember that, like, beautiful time? Pee-wee's Playhouse was back on Adult Swim. And I was watching it, obviously, because that's what you did in the 2000s, is you watched Adult Swim. And I loved Pee-wee's Playhouse as a kid. Of course I'm going to watch it as an adult, right? Nostalgia is very powerful for our generation. And watching it, I realized just how much of like the central core of who Devin Decker is was totally influenced by my exposure to Pee-wee's Playhouse during my formative years. And I mentioned that in that documentary, and then like watching this movie, because you talk about like, you know, he got the movie and then he got the show, like it's almost a different Pee-wee Herman who's in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Not for better or for worse, but they are two very distinct, like, evolutionary points of the character. A new Pokemon game's coming out tomorrow, so let's use evolution as the basis for this. Like, he does, like, all that stuff where he's like, he tried to sanitize his image. He wanted to make sure that he was not seen smoking or doing anything that negatively would reflect on the children who had become his audience. That is, he's nowhere near as mean. And and the mean things that he says in Pee-wee's Big Adventure are not that mean. They are like snotty little fucking kid comebacks. I fucking love, one of the Pee-wee's Big Adventure lines for me, and it's because it was in every Disney Channel commercial for this movie. Because for some reason, despite this clearly being a Warner Brothers picture, Disney Channel aired Pee-wee's Big Adventure all the time.
I think at some point, what is now Freeform, but whatever it was at the time, Fox Family, ABC Family. Yeah. I think they had it for a time too, and I remember watching it a ton when it at some point when it was doing that.
But it was in the Disney Channel commercial for Pee-wee's Big Adventure. The whole, I don't make monkeys, I train them. Like, that is the most out of character of Pee-wee Herman that I feel like he gets in this film. Like the voice is a little bit deeper. There's a little bit bigger bite to it. And it's important to us as the audience that moment because it's letting us know how much disdain this character that we have seen nothing but happiness from, right? Even like his neighbor is not offended by the fact that he's going to use the crazy water thing to water his lawn. He says good morning to Pee-wee. Pee-wee gives him the heads up. I'm going to be watering my lawn. He shuts his window so that it doesn't get full of water, and then he smiles at it because Herman's like not innocence, but like childhood wonder is infectious. And the best thing that could have happened to our world, right, or at least to the world of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, is his bike getting stolen because he gets to take that goodness, that wonder, that belief that anything is possible on the road and changes the life of tens of 20s of people. Like,
yeah, I remember like when I was younger wanting to watch Pee-wee's Playhouse and wanting to watch this movie and almost feeling like I was getting away with something. But, like, I don't think my parents... This is not me saying my parents were stopping me from watching this stuff. I think that they probably were, like, shaking their heads, like, why does he think we wouldn't want him? But I remember, like, it being... what's the word? Like, risque. Like I like, finding Pee-wee's Big Adventure on the shelf at the movie, like, rental place, and then, like, picking it up and trying to figure out if I'm gonna have to talk my mom into letting me rent it. like I remember that there's this level of watching this that like I was like he's a bad kid, I think, like, right? So like I can't, like, my mom doesn't like that I watch Rugrats too much, and she definitely doesn't let me watch South Park because, like, you know, because she's worried what it will be like to let me watch bad kids. I kind of felt that way about Pee-wee. I was like, I think I'm not supposed to be watching Pee-wee because I think he's kind of a bad kid.
I mean, for me, like, my mother's not a big fan of the movie, and I might be putting thoughts into her mind, but she really enjoyed the show. And what I've come to find out as I've gotten older and had discussions with her about the things, like, I was allowed to watch Ren and Stimpy, but not The Simpsons. And that's insane to me when I consider the content that I like was taking in from Ren and Stimpy. And then like I watch old episodes of Ren and Stimpy and I'm like, I was allowed to watch this at 9. And then I watched the same seasons of The Simpsons that were on when I was 9. And I'm like, but this was not allowed. This like super, like, God, The Simpsons is so tame for it causing the stir that it did in the 90s. But what it boils, yeah,
because people were worried that if you let a kid watch a kid, misbehave, that they were just going to learn that behavior. Like it was like a 1-to-1 for people. And we know that like there is definitely the idea of continuous influence is bad, but like also like context is important too. Like a kid watching that hanging out with his like mom and dad is not the same thing as him sneakily watching it anyway and picking up a shit ton of bad habits.
Right. It's about guidance. It's why once I turned 10, I wasn't allowed to watch R-rated movies until I had turned 13. Right? Like, it was a lot of, like, I know you want to see Pulp Fiction, but we're going to wait until you're a little bit older, because there's some stuff that, like, you don't understand the context of yet. And we're going to wait until you're old enough to understand that context. But then I think about, like, I saw my first R-rated movie when I was 4 years old. I mean, like, in the theater. So, like... I don't understand, like, where's the disconnect, Mom and Dad? But as I've gotten older, I've understood it. And a lot of those shows that I was allowed to watch, it was because my parents enjoyed them too. And, like, The Simpsons, like, when I get my mother to sit down and watch an episode of The Simpsons, my father will never do that. But she will admit that, like, I really never gave the show a chance when you were younger. I like heard everything that was being said about it and was just like, we're not going to watch it. But like, no, it's good and it's got good references and it understands like culture and things like that. Really, Devin, I didn't want you to watch The Simpsons because you were saying dough all the time and I couldn't deal with it. And that's fair.
It's fair, yes.
I get that. I understand it.
But, again, it's not that kids don't pick shit up from these things, but like you're better off being there at the forefront helping them contextualize it than you are forcing them to do it in secret on their own.
Exactly. Which is how I watch South Park, and who knows how that affected. That's what my fragile little brain. But yeah, so I don't know. This one, the movie was always sort of a pale comparison to the joy that I got from watching Pee-wee's Playhouse. I mean, every episode of Pee-wee's Playhouse ends with him getting on his scooter. It's no longer a bike, it's a scooter. And I wonder, that's something that like hits me. And I think it's because scooters are accessible to everybody. Like bikes, there is that like level of like, you need to know how to do this. Pretty much everybody can scoot. And I wonder if it is that accessibility. But every time he got on his scooter, I got on a scooter and I launched myself out the back door of our house.
You know, you're talking about all of this, about this idea that, like, he feels like he's a different Pee-wee and all this. And you know what it is that he very openly talked about the idea that he never wanted Pee-wee to, like, learn lessons. Like, yes, he wanted him to learn them in the episode, but he didn't want that to then be something that was part of his character going forward. He needed to reset everything, right? Like, he needed to always come back to being this naive, childlike character. Like, and to that point, like, there are things that are, maybe canon is not the right word, right? They're not in this continuity, but they're in the canon, maybe. like there's stuff that happens to Pee-wee that like then contradicts the other things that happen to Pee-wee in other movies and other elements and other shows. Like Pee-wee is a character that can pretty much do anything. You know, like we were saying, he's not really a person. He's an embodiment of something.
I agree, and I like that. I like that for the character. I know that might sound weird, but I like this embodiment. But you're also right. The Pee-wee of Pee-wee's Playhouse does not learn lessons. But Pee-wee in this movie, it's all about him learning lessons. Like,
yeah, but then lessons that he then carries on into other versions of himself?
No.
Like, yeah, like within the context of the thing, he will learn a lesson. But then, like, it's like he never encountered that thing before.
No, and he
You know,
does.
I also think of like Ernest P. Worrell, right? Like,
Yeah. God, there are just so many characters. Like, we don't have characters like that anymore, do we? Like what would be the modern Pee Wee Herman?
the Lonely Island tried it for a little bit,
Yeah.
right? To kind of be that kind of character out there. But no, we don't really have many personas. I mean, hell, even Slim Shady's dead now.
Oh, I'm sorry, that just tickled me in a way, Sejohn. That like Slim Shady's fucking dead. Like Jesus. Like yeah, no, it's true. It is. I don't know, but I do. I love Pee Wee as a character. Huge influence, and this movie. I mean, like all we've really talked about is Pee Wee, and there's so much more going on in this. Like I want to talk about Dottie. I want to talk about, funny enough that you bring up Rugrats, the voice of Tommy Pickles. Like
fucking Pee Wee. Every woman in this movie wants Pee Wee bad.
Yes, and I think if I had to draw like where the cringe kind of comes from, is that, and it's not like into oh god, why would everybody want this fucking dweeb, right? No, it's just the fact that like. Because he's like meant to be this child, there's this almost like girls are icky thing about his character that just, but like he also clearly cares about Dottie, right? Like it's that moment, and the moment with Simone, I never think that it's going to cross any line. In fact, it's kind of funny. Like, I think it works for the humor that Andy, Simone's boyfriend, thinks that something would have happened between them. But all Pee Wee Herman represents for Simone is a male in her life who is acknowledging her voice.
Yeah.
Which is, kind of sad. It's sad, but he acknowledges her, he listens to her, and then, what he says to her is that, like, fuck that. If nobody's going to listen to you, go live your life the way you want to. And
yeah, and he also lays a very solid line down and says, and is like, I'm not going to cross this line with you. Like, yeah. And he does that with Donnie too. But like, there is literal consent on display, right? And she doesn't really break that at any point.
No, and then like when. She's like, you can pay me back at the drive-in. But also, like, you see in that moment where he's on the phone with her at the Texas.
Well, and I mean Simone, too.
Oh, yeah, no, Simone doesn't try anything. That's a good point. But you had mentioned Dottie. So, like, whole thing. Like, I love when that moment where Simone shows up at the bus depot. It's all going to be about the Texas bus depot for, like, the next 8 minutes. Sorry, everybody who hates, Texas bus depots. But that's where the story went. When Simone shows up there and she's like, I'm doing it. I'm following my dream. Like, that makes me tear up. Like, that is such a beautiful moment. And she's not like, come with me or anything like that. It is very much, she has realized that she doesn't need a man in her life to make her dreams come true. She can make her own dreams come true. And the fact that she gets to see Pee Wee and thank him for helping her realize that, like, that's enough. And it's beautiful. But also, that whole thing, that idea that, like, there's this woman that Pee Wee has interacted with, and through their interactions, her life has become better. It's why he calls Dottie, and it's why, like, he realizes, oh, like, I don't feel the same way about this woman that I have met on my journey as I do about my friend at the bike shop back home. Because he is struggling with telling her that, like, no, like, I've realized that, like, I do care about you. And Dottie gets that. Like, Dottie gets that on the phone. Which is why, like, she's waiting for him to be like, and he's like, will you still help me look for my bike? And she's like, you son of a bitch, take me to the goddamn drive-in movie theater. That's what we do in the 80s.
I mean, and, like there is also this establishment with Dottie specifically where he talks about the idea that he's like, I do like you. He's just, it's really just more of like I just don't think I'm the kind of guy that dates right now. It's not like I'm not into you. This is just not what I do. Like, it's almost we talk about this. We talked a little bit about this with Austin Powers once or twice, where like there's just this confidence in who he is that makes it. It never comes across as rude. It's charming almost in a way. Like it's weird.
Yeah, no, I get it. And yeah, and that thing is weird though too, because like I like you, Dottie, and it's like, so you don't love her? Is that what you're trying to say? You don't like her to evoke the Wonder Years, which this film always does for me for some reason.
Oh, jeez, I wonder why that would be.
Is because Fred Savage was in The Wizard, which also featured
the
dinosaurs.
Harvard? What's his last name?
Oh,
It's Harvard?
Oh, God, I do not know. I know who you're talking about. I cannot. Oh, Kevin Hoover.
I'll look it up.
Hoover. I thought you wanted me to say the name of the character who gets gifted Pee-wee's bike. And I'm like,
oh, no, it's Morton or something, right? Like, it's like kid. Yeah.
Sorry.
Morton Joe? Is that what it is?
It's Morton Joe. This is where his story started before Fury Road. He had his bike stolen by its proper owner, and then he turned on the world. Apologies. I'm just having too much fun. Jason Hervey, right? That's what was throwing me off, is Jason Hervey, and Kevin Morton is the character that he plays. And, and then like, it's weird because he's Kevin's older brother in the Wonder Years. And then this movie features the dinosaurs, the California dinosaurs from The Wizard, which starred Fred Savage. This movie is just a pastiche. And those dinosaurs look so beautiful at night, like lit up. They look so boring by day.
There's a lot of really good moments and shots in this movie. I didn't realize how iconic some of them were, like the moment when they're in the dinosaur mouth.
Yeah.
And like that so stands out to me. And then there's like moments I see that referenced because like I was thinking there's a moment in Fallout New Vegas where you can go up into a dinosaur and sit in the mouth with a guy and the idea there is that it's a good place to pick off people as they run by. But but it is clearly this moment of just like, man, I always wondered why that moment hit so hard, and it's probably because of how often I watched Pee-wee.
What's your big butt, Sejohn? Let's talk about your big butt. Like, it's just, and the writing is just so clever because like it's innuendo, but it rarely ever like goes like dirty. Like it's all just like, it's all clever wordplay, and God, it's just so nice to see how he affects the lives of the people around him. And then there's a moment where he rides a bull for far more than 8 seconds. Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I like this. But then there is all the Burtonisms too, right? Like you talk about the claymation, like Large March. That's so the like shrunken heads and a lot of the stuff you see in Beetlejuice. You're not wrong about that. The Clown Dream. Really? The Clown Dream, which like
the Clown Dream, yeah.
You want to know why Tim Burton's directed? I would love to see the 1987 Say Report, right? So like podcasts don't exist, so we're just like two guys at a comic shop, I guess.
Pirate
radio station, and we're like, everybody's losing their fucking minds over Tim Burton getting the Batman movie, Sejohn. Have you seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure? Those clowns were pretty fucking scary. I think that the Joker is in the right hands. Now, Mr. Mom as Batman, that one I'm willing to field complaints about.
Oh shit, man. Yeah, no. But I was also thinking of the silly moment of animation in the middle of it when the lights go out and Pee-wee and it's Pee-wee's eyes looking around, but it's clearly just like hand drawn animation of just eyes looking around, and then. Perhaps my favorite joke in the entire movie. The headlight goggles come back which is a silly ass concept already. But the reveal of all of the wildlife around him, and let's be honest, all of the wildlife around him also being so obviously fake.
Oh, it is just, it's like he's in a zoo. Like, there's zoo animal levels. Like, there's 2 lions in the background.
There's a leopard in there. Yeah.
Like, it's so good. Like, that almost just upsets me because it's Chekhov's gun, right? The headlight goggles are Chekhov's gun, but like, you hope that everything from the magic shop's gonna come back, but we never get to see him use the boomerang bow tie. And that really bums me out. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I do, God, I mean, the deja vu moment of, I'm a loner, Pee-wee, a rebel. That's so good. And that's stuff that, like, as a kid, I did not pick up on. Whether it be the fact that Disney was editing it for time, and honestly, that's a pretty easy moment to, like, cut out. Just get out, and then we cut to the next scene where Pee-wee is just animated eyes. But, like, as an adult, all of the beautiful callbacks that exist in this film, like, it's just, and all the old Hollywood as they're going through the WB Studios lot, like, that Godzilla's fucking there, Sejohn.
Oh man, I forgot about the entire, like, yeah. And you get to see the movie later.
Yeah, like, it's, I do. This movie makes me happy. And I mean, I guess this is the moment where I get a little sappy. I'll get a little sappy. A couple of years ago, just like hanging out, and on a whim, like my friend put on Pee-wee's Big Adventure. My friend Justin, right? I'll give him a shout out. He put on Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and I'm like, oh, what? This is like, it was like kind of unexpected. And he's like, yeah, no word of a lie, this is my favorite movie. And to watch this movie with somebody who it's their favorite movie, that was a completely life-changing experience. Because, like, this movie has never 100% done it for me. I will admit that. Like, that, not to say it is super important to the history of cinema, right? Tim Burton's success with this film is why he gets Beetlejuice and why he gets fucking Batman. Convince me otherwise, right?
No.
Like, as much as Frankenweenie, like, the short was a big deal, right? The 30-minute short that he directed, Pee-wee's Big Adventure is the star-making moment for Burton. And then he goes on to prove why we've made you a star with things like Edward Scissorhands and Ed Wood and, I don't know, Mars Attacks. Like, people hate Mars Attacks, and I don't get that. I honestly do not understand.
Attacks is all right. Big Fish is another good example, though.
I love Big Fish. You know what I like? Like, just straight up, Dumbo, a film that will always be tied to Avengers Endgame. Obviously, the Dumbo from 2019, featuring Mr. Mom himself, Michael Keaton, again, right? Because that's, like, Burton, he works with the people again. I cannot wait till we get further down the road to Reubens, and we see Paul again in a Tim Burton movie. Right? You know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Simone's going to be there. It's going to be crazy. But like this one, because I grew up with the Playhouse, because I did not grow up with Big Adventure, the Playhouse was my Pee-wee. And this was always like a weird facsimile of it. I knew he came beforehand, but it wasn't the Pee-wee that, like, I fell in love with, if that makes sense. Right? And it was
I
like
get that.
two body. But I mean, but that doesn't mean that, like, when I was playing video games in the basement and I had, like, I put something on in the background, Pee-wee's Big Adventure was that choice a lot. But to sit down and actively watch this movie, it must have been like 5 years ago at this point, with somebody self-proclaimed, this is my favorite movie, like, it really changed the way that I watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And I'm very thankful for that. Like, that night, sitting on their, like, beautiful leather couches with, like, just too many people, too. Like, this is not really a group movie. Like, it's a group movie if it's on in the background. It's not like there's 10 people right now hanging out, let's put on Pee-wee's Big Adventure movie. But it worked. And it's the reason why I'm like this. It is the reason why, coupled with seeing that the actual bike from Pee-wee's Big Adventure is now on display at the Alamo. And I think it's there. I'll look up in a bit to see how long it's going to be there. It's there at least through this for the 40th anniversary. And it's owned by Austin, right? It's owned by Austin, Texas Department of Tourism. So they'll have it forever. But it's not going to be on display all the time. They'll probably keep it in the basement when it's not time to display it. But yeah, like that coupled with that moment, I'm like, this is a movie that I think we dedicate an episode to. And it is certainly the movie that if we're going to one day, and I promise you it's going to happen. That's not a Say Report promise. That's a Devin Decker promise. Because I want to cover Mystery Men too. And I know that I keep pushing it off, Sejohn. But I keep pushing it off because I want to give it its proper. I want it to be like a big moment for Mystery Men. Because I feel like at the time it didn't really get it. Sorry. I feel like I'm taking this over. What do you got? What do you got, Sejohn? While I look up how long this bike is on display.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the bike is so interesting, especially because this is really kind of the only place where it shows up, right? But it is actually like it is the like seed for this movie that like gets him writing about it, because he gets a bike pretty similar to this. I don't think it's this exact bike, but he gets a red Schwinn from WB when he like notices that everybody on the lot is riding bikes everywhere. It's an easy way to get around in the 80s, right? Like, and you can take it from basically stage to stage without any issue, right? And so he jokes about like, you know, you work here long enough, you get given a bike, and then like what he gets given is a red Schwinn. So he then like from that like completely scraps all the other Pee-wee's projects that he was doing at the time and writes this movie. Like, I think he was writing a movie, but I think it wasn't this one. Right. I think somebody said it was supposed to be Pollyanna, I think is what it says on the Wikipedia page, which sounds fucking hilarious to me, but yeah. But yeah, like he gets the bike, and it is like the thing that like it's the spark that sets off this entire film.
So the bike went on display beginning Saturday, August 9th, exactly 40 years from the movie's debut. And it's going to be out, but then it's going to get moved over to the long-term Legacy Gallery, where it will serve as the centerpiece. And that is scheduled to open in 2027. So apparently it's going to be at the Alamo until it takes place in that museum's gallery.
You know, they gave him a tour of the only real basement in the Alamo, which apparently is just the basement of the gift shop.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Just so much.
But they did give Paul Reubens a tour of the basement of the Alamo at some point in his life. It's like, what a silly legacy.
I mean, what I really like is just the idea that, like, first of all, Jan Hooks. I love Jan Hooks. I know that she's no Jean Smart. She was a pale comparison when she took over for Jean Smart on Designing Women, but you know, Carlene to Charlene did like it was the difference. It was fun, right? Jan Hooks as the tour guide is just so good. And you want to talk more about like the SNL of it all, think about the character that Jan Hooks is playing in Coneheads, right? As the like vixen who's trying to like seduce Balthazar.
Yeah.
Like she's there. She's a big part of that. So, I don't know. I love her as the tour guide. I love just how on the nose that tour is. Like, it is just, like, it makes me angry. Like, what were we supposed to learn on those tours, Sejohn? Corn can be made into tortillas. I know, I've eaten at Taco Bell. Thank you, ma'am. No, just,
Our boy Blue is in this movie.
Yeah, Carmen Filippi, baby. I was gonna let you bring him up. Like I was so happy, and I'm like, Sejohn. I hope Sejohn caught this and is so happy, because ever since you brought him up from The Wedding Singer, because he's in The Wedding Singer, and like you're like he's in everything, and every time I see him,
you want an old coot, like this is the guy you get. Like,
can we talk about he was an old coot in 1985, and then he's an old coot in 1998. Like, this guy's just always been an old coot. He came out the womb that way.
Yeah. Oh shit, man. Yeah, no, great though in this movie. It annoys Pee Wee to the point where Pee Wee jumps off the train. I love it.
Like, it's weird because he's also where he's supposed to be. But the joke is most definitely, I cannot stand this guy anymore, right?
Yeah, that's also the other thing is that Pee Wee is not like the most annoying person in the world, right? Like there are people that are worse than Pee Wee. So like, Pee Wee has friends. Pee Wee has women that are interested in him. Pee Wee is able to charm people. Like he's just a likable character, and it's and that's key to the whole thing is that he's not, because we talk about things like Dumb and Dumber and stuff like that, and like I think that those guys are just unlikable, right? But in an R-rated comedy where like you can do things like have people getting shot and stuff like that, it's okay to have these two people that are just despicable. Not when it's a PG like family adventure film.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's not Patrick Cranshaw's Blue, so it's a different actor. Just on that one.
It's not. Wait, it's he's not the one that's in this movie?
No.
As the
It's Carmen Philby who's in this one as Hobo Jack. And then Blue is played by that name I just said, Patrick Cranshaw. And looking at his IMDb, he might show up somewhere else in the movie. I wouldn't be surprised. But no, he's not in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Oh, no, he is. He's another hobo. He's just not Hobo Jack.
He must be one of the other ones in the thing.
Yeah,
okay. But he is in this as a hobo.
He's definitely in this movie as a hobo. It's just that the big one is Carbon Philby, which is wonderful. Cause,
the annoying one.
Yeah, the one.
Yeah.
Jimmy Crack code and I don't care. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Neither does Pee-wee. That's why he jumped off the train. He leaves his bindle behind, and I'm so upset in that moment that he leaves his bindle behind. Oh, man. I had something else here. The pet shop, right? Can we talk about the pet shop scene and just how that is one of my favorite moments in this movie? Like, hands down. Just the disgust every time he walks by the tank of snakes and goes and saves something else. The big bowl of goldfish he comes running out with. Like, it's an unnecessary wrinkle at the end of the movie, and it works so well. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, but I mean, we literally get to see him save the cat, the dog, the snakes.
And I like that one of the dogs he saves becomes Dottie's dog, so Speck gets some loving too. I am happy that we don't see puppies though. That always makes me sad in movies. When there's like little weird amalgamation puppies.
That makes you sad.
Yeah. In live action, it works in animation, but then they sometimes do it in live action. I don't like it. I like in Lady and the Tramp when we get to see Lady and the Tramp's babies, even though like I don't like that all the girls look like Lady and all the boys look like the Tramp. That really bothers me.
Disney genetics, yeah.
But yeah. Also, from the Disney thing, the kid going, radical! when he jumps and rides down the house. God, there's just some great stuff in this movie. I really enjoy it. I'm like struggling to say anything else about it though. I mean, is there something you want to share with the class, Amazing Larry? I love that Amazing Larry is in this. Just like, thank you for that, Paul Reubens. I love that Phil Hartman is just like that small cameo at the end as the reporter talking to Francis. Like there's just enough of everything. But this is Pee-wee's world and we're all living in it. And I'm thankful for that. I don't know. Morgan Fairchild as P.W. Herman's, James Brolin's love interest. Pee-wee getting overdubbed in the movie. Or is that meant to be his voice? I'm not sure what the joke is there.
I like the moment. I don't know why, because I don't... I like the moment when he asks the guard, well, the guy in a guard costume, like where the kid might be, and for no reason at all, the guy has a very high-pitched voice, and then they call him for the showgirl, and then for no reason at all, she just has a very low-pitched voice. It's like,
that
okay.
it's just the fact that everything in Hollywood is not what it appears.
Right, yeah.
Like, it's... Can we talk about the fact that Pee-wee's Big Adventure was a 2008 nominee for the TV Land Award in the category Movie Dance Sequence You Reenacted in Your Living Room for Tequila?
Yeah, the Pee Wee Herman dance, man.
Did you, where does the Pee Wee Herman dance live in your mind? Is the question that I just asked you on this show. Because
behind the couch? I don't know. What the fuck do you mean?
For me, the Pee Wee Herman dance, this is the dumbest shit that I'm about to say. And I'm about to say it into a microphone to be recorded for, like, anyone to listen to. But I had a neighbor, and whenever we played Super Mario Brothers and you climbed up the vine, she would go to the top of the vine and, like, make Mario run forever. Like, if you keep climbing the vine, he, like, does a dance. And she called that the Pee Wee Herman dance. And it's not the Pee Wee Herman dance at all. But that is where, like, anytime I climb a vine in Mario Brothers, I make him do that. And suddenly he becomes Paul Reubens dancing to Tequila. And that's the thing I just shared. And I'm not mad about it. It's just a fact. I am so mad that I cannot find what won the award for best. Oh, movie dance sequence you reenacted in your living room. I found it. I know. Okay. Do you want to take a guess? There are 4 nominees. I have eliminated Pee-wee's Big Adventure Tequila. Do you want to take a guess at the 3 other ones that were nominated?
For dances in your living room in the 1980s?
2008 TV Land Awards movie dance sequence you reenacted in your
Risky
living
Business.
room. Risky Business is there.
Risky Business has to be there, yeah.
Yeah, of course, right? That's
dance sequences you reenacted in your living room. Man, I don't know. What's the string dance from?
The what dance?
I'm trying to remember what it's from. I can't explain it without
string
remembering what the context was for it.
What is the string
I don't know.
dance?
I mean, because you think about like Dirty Dance. Oh, Flashdance. I bet you there's a ton of people that have done the
I bet
chair
there is.
move in
I've dumped
Flashdance.
water on myself in my living room. Not one of them.
Jamie Lee Curtis and True Lies. Just
No, I'm sorry. You have one more guess, and then I'll do it. And you know what I'm going to say? You said Dirty Dancing. Dirty Dancing is one of them. So, like,
I was going to ask if the Dirty Dancing bit, but I mean, like, that's kind of hard to pull off in your living room. But
I mean, it's pretty easy to pretend to lift someone up. It's harder to pretend you're being lifted up. But
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, that's a good one. Grease, you're the one that I want. So it's Risky Business, Old Time Rock and Roll, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Tequila, Grease, you're the one that I want, and the winner, which I disagree with, is Dirty Dancing. I had the time of my life.
Yeah, I don't even agree with it being in the category.
Exactly right. Like, you're like, should that be there? I really thought when it's like Pee-wee's Big Adventure didn't win, well, then it had to have been Old Time Rock and Roll from Risky Business. Because there is not a single person in this world who has not had socks on their feet and slid across their freaking hardwood.
And literally done the riff.
Friggin', they did it in Roofman, a movie that we're going to talk about more next episode. But I'm just
Excellent.
like, really? That just happened, Roofman? Good for you, Roofman. Sorry, that makes me so happy that it even got nominated when you think about it. Because, like, that Pee Wee Herman dancing to Tequila is certainly one of those moments that lives in people's minds. But then it is very late in this movie, and it's kind of like not even that great a dance. Not trying to cast aspersions on it, but like the dancing part is not what wins over the bikers. Him creating a nuisance by smashing bottles and pitchers. After Cassandra Peters, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark herself, is like, get him first. Like, oh, God, there's just so many good comedians from the 80s in this movie. Like, that's the thing. Charlie's mom is the Mother Superior nun from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Did you clock that one?
Okay, man.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anything else you want to make sure we say about this one? Like, this is the start of something kind of big. It's such a good movie. Like, there's stuff I don't want to talk about because I just want to say go watch it. You know what I'll talk about? How fucking disappointed I am that this isn't on HBO Max anymore.
Yeah.
Like that, this used to be a go-to, I need background noise movie for me. So like when it came time to watch it for the show, I'm like, HBO Max is HBO Max again. That's gotta be my one-stop shop for Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Nope. It's not like streaming anywhere. Like it's on Amazon Prime, but you gotta pay for it. It's not on any of these subscription services where like you're subscribed. So yeah, as a part of that subscription, you get Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And that kind of surprised me. It surprised me this being the 40th anniversary. It surprised me, like even like the Alamo website doesn't have like exclusive streaming rights for it because they bought the bike for a year. Like they'd have the exclusive rights for a year because they bought the bike. I said that very strange. Like it was weird that this was a movie I had to hunt down because that doesn't seem right.
Well, especially because Netflix has their own
the holiday
Pee-wee
one,
movie,
right? Yeah,
right, and like ties to that, and they had the show for a while. I don't know if they still do, but yeah. So like, it's just weird that it doesn't kind of default back to Netflix if nobody else has it.
Well, I mean, it should default back to Warner Brothers, right? Because it's a Warner.
Yeah, well,
like you just said, they gave him a bike, and that's why he's like, yeah, I'll write a movie for you guys. Let's see if Pee-wee's Playhouse. So Prime Video streaming, but I please don't play music when I do this. Yeah, it's included with Prime. Pee-wee's Playhouse is included with Prime. I think I'm
the show.
The show, yeah, not the movie. But that just seems so strange to me. That like again, I have been saying all episode how Pee-wee's Playhouse is my preferred Pee-wee delivery system. That's not good. I shouldn't have said that. But like this movie feels important, and it's the 40th anniversary, and just I don't know. It seems real symptomatic of everything that's going on at Warner Brothers right now. Not to like get too serious about it, but like Zaslav and whatever his plans are, like the Skydanceification of Paramount happened so fast. Like I saw a movie in theaters today that started with Paramount, a Skydance company. And it's like, well, this movie wasn't like they took the time to add that because the merger happened within like what, the last 2 months? Like I don't know. Sorry. Any Pee-wee stuff you want to share, Sejohn, before we're done with this? Or anything else to say? Because this is our episode for the next one. So if there's anything you want to address or like that, good time to do it.
No, we'll see you all next week.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Thank you for joining us as we celebrated Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I know that it was more of us just like lavishing praise on it, but it deserves all the praise that we gave it and more. If you haven't seen it, I know you got to hunt it down, but like take the time to hunt it down. It's worth it. This is just an enjoyable little movie. And you get to see, as Tim Burton's first like feature-length directorial debut, you get to see a lot of his ideas, but tempered through the lens of what Reubens was doing. All of that said, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Say Report as we embark upon the road to Reubens. If you enjoyed the conversation, you can keep it going by joining us in our Discord server. Invitations to join are available wherever we are on social media, which as of this recording, even though it's a excused absence episode, is still Facebook and X, formerly Twitter. So just go find us there, type in the Say Report, and in our bio, you'll be able to find... we didn't talk about Twisted Sister. I hate to interrupt myself, but I've met Dee Schneider at a movie theater. Twisted Sister's in this movie, and I kind of dig that. It's very weird, because that is what the music video is for the song Burn in Hell, is them in the Twisted Sister mobile. So it's just, I don't know, were they shooting at the same time and let's do it? I don't know. But yeah, Twisted Sister's there. Sorry, back to everything. I'm not going to take it from the beginning. Find us wherever we're on social media, which as this recording is Facebook, X, formerly Twitter. Look in the bio. There's an invitation to join our Discord server. Click on that. You can join, and we share supplemental materials to things that we talk about each episode. There's discussion there if you just want to get in touch with us. But if you're not on social media, or you just want to get in touch with us anyway, you can always send an email to thesayreport@gmail.com, thesayreport@gmail.com, and we can facilitate you with an invitation if you want to join the Discord server but you're not on social media, or you can just communicate with us by sending us messages. We'll read them. But if you only want to get in touch with me, Devin Decker, or him, Sejohn Sarowick, Sejohn, say hi right now. I know you're muted over there, but just say hi.
Hello.
I'm
not muted.
No, okay. I know that sometimes you do that at the end while I get into my whole spiel, and I've got weird Pee Wee Herman energy right now, so I need just a little bit of validation from you, Sejohn. But if it's for me, Devin Decker, or for him, Sejohn Sarowick, just put our name in the subject line, and we will make sure that it is distributed to the appropriate Say Reporter so that your hopes and dreams are only read by whoever you want to have read them. That being said, if you send something to Sejohn and he reads it, there is a chance he's going to talk about it on the show. So do understand that anything you send us is subject to being featured in the show. Also, if you're just a normal person and you interact with us in your day-to-day, understand that every interaction is subject to winding up on the Say Report. Huh? Big Brother is watching! I don't know where that came from. Again, big Pee Wee Herman energy in here right now. But yeah, so again, thanks so much for joining us as we embark upon the road to Reubens, the celebration of Pee Wee's Big Adventure. We look forward to joining you next week for another episode. And until next time, Sejohn, I'm a loner, Sejohn, a rebel. Will, bring us home.
Thank you for listening to the Say Report with your host Devin Decker and Sejohn Sarowick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.